right? And here we have the suffering of the people who
who,
were
who were
colonized.
colonized. So I would like to add one more point regarding post-colonial. The post-colonial criticism is similar to cultural studies,
Yes.
but it assumes a unique perspective on literature and politics. Both are related. Specifically, post-colonial critics are concerned with literature produced by colonial powers and works produced by those who were are colonized. Post-colonial theory looks at issues of powers, economics, politics, religion, and how these elements works in relation to the colonial hegemony. So these were the points related to feminism and gender studies, structuralism and post-structuralism, and the post-colonial. Post-colonial. Now I would request Urvashi ma'am to throw light on the next very important point of today's lecture is that is eco-criticism.
Slide, please, sir. So let's move on to eco-criticism. Glotflet's working definition in the eco-criticism readers is that eco-criticism is the study of relationship between literature and the physical environment. Lawrence Buell defines eco-criticism as a study of relationship between literature and the environment conducted in a spirit of commitment to the environmentalist praxis. I would like to say more about this. Eco-criticism is a critical mode that looks at the representation of nature and landscape in a cultural text, paying particular attention to the attitudes towards nature and the rhetoric employed when speaking about it. It aligns itself with ecological activism and social theory, with assumption that rhetoric of culture text reflects and informs material practices towards the environment while seeking to increase awareness about it and linking itself and literary text with other ecological sciences and approaches. In a way, we can say that eco-criticism shows the relationship between human life and the literature and the environment, right? How the human life and environment goes together, how they are affected with each other by each other, that is described in eco-criticism. Next slide, please, sir. William Ruckert may have been the first person to use the term eco-criticism. In 1978, Ruckert published an essay titled Literature and Ecology, an experiment in eco-criticism. His intent was to focus on the application of ecology and ecological concepts to study the literature.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can you explain what eco-criticism focuses on?
As I have told before, that it shows the relationship of environment and human life. It focuses on the material context and industrialization. It also focuses on the pollution and ecocide while developing the frame for reading. Here one more point about the eco-criticism. Eco-criticism begins with the assumption that the cultural text construct particular notions of nature which then tie into material practices. Here nature, a particular concept of nature means the way nature is described in a particular text, and then it becomes a material practice. You understand what I mean? The way the nature is described, not in a particular age, in any age, the way nature is described. Another thing here is what is eco-criticism. What I would like to tell you that according to me, what is eco-criticism is, it is a study of relationship between literature and environment. Right. Next slide.
Well, I want one more point. I want to ask you something. Has eco-criticism being influenced by any discipline or any approach like that?
Many, not one. many approaches.
So can you throw some light?
Like philosophy,
Okay.
then the ecology, sociology,
Feminism,
feminism,
yes.
Marxism, right, and many other disciplines. So you can have the shades of all of them in this eco-criticism. Like this. Joseph Mikkel's The Comedy of Survival in 1974 proposed a version of an argument that the environmental crisis is caused primarily by a cultural tradition in the West of separation of culture from nature. Uh, one thing here I would like to mention that this I find this eco-criticism the most relevant nowadays, because we all are feeling this cultural eco-friendly whatever kind of a movement going on, right? The way we are polluting our nature, right? And how the relationship and how we have affected or polluted our environment, that we can see by this study, eco-critical study.
So, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to ask you regarding what is eco-criticism according to you? And how you will present as far as the human and the environment connection is concerned. You know, you told that it is how we are affected, and we have used nature like anything, and we are sufferer. So nature is damaged. We have damaged our own life. We are gonna damage, and we have already damaged the future life, the human future life. So how according to you will relate this point?
See, that is why this whole theory came into existence. You know, understand? Nowadays, we all are aware of these effects of what you call pollution, you can say, or it is the pollution is the only one part of it.
It is.
Even the women, you can connect the women
also,
right? Women with the with the environment, with the nature, right? The way nature is polluted by human, right? Here I would like to mention one more thing. There is two terms, right? Two new terms which are related to the eco-criticism. One is the eco-feminism and another one is the deep ecology. When I was telling you that the woman is compared with nature, you must have heard the quote that Mother Nature, right?
Yes.
So the nature is nurturing like mother. So the way nature nurtures our life, human life, like that the patriarchal society expect the women to nurture and the shape, the way we pollute. The way we pollute the environment, the way we pollute the nature, in the same way we are polluting the woman. In the same way we need a woman for our service. See, we need nature for our service. The same way we need, and that kind of thing studies the ecofeminism. So in a way we can say the patriarchal society's values and beliefs have resulted in oppression of both woman and nature, right? So the patriarchal society what you call affects both. They devalued, right? They devalued or undervalued this women and nature both. It ignores women's work, knowledge and situatedness. So that is the one thing. Now I would like to explain the second term, the deep ecology. So there is a slight difference. These are the three. One is the eco-criticism. From that came the deep ecology, and the another one is the ecofeminism. So now we discuss the point deep ecology. So what is deep ecology? It believes in fundamental interconnectedness of all life forms. So not only the literature, all life forms and natural features. It believes that anthropocentric thinking has alienated humans from their natural environment and caused them to exploit it. Here what we means that before the man was thinking about himself only. When we think about nature, only what we need from nature, right?
Then and
So
then
we were
we will think.
exploiting nature for getting service from the
Nature.
right? So that point was shattered in deep ecology.
And we have taken service to such an extent that now
It is polluted,
it is
and now we
polluted now.
must read this kind of eco-criticism. Right? Next slide, please, sir.
So let's move to next slide. That is new historicism and cultural studies.
New historicism is a practice that has developed out of contemporary theory, particularly the structuralist realization that all human systems are symbolic and subject to the rules of language, and the deconstructive realization that there is no way of positioning oneself as an observer outside the closed circle of textuality.
Urushma, can you explain or can you throw some light what do you mean by social struggle?
See, here in history, first of all, I would like to share one point. See, in 1970s and early 1980s, literary critics influenced by anthropologists and philosophers of history began to see context and text as reflecting real material conditions of social struggle. So in short, what I mean is that they started believing that whatever is the text is a social struggle. It explains the social struggle of a person of a particular
And
time
whole
in the
society
history.
in that
Right?
particular
So
period.
now here comes the term social struggle. So let me explain that. By social struggle, I mean the struggle for power, always, whether it is any gender, power struggle between any kind of power, between classes, between gender, between ethnic groups, between communities and nations. Power was at the center of all social relations, and this was reflected in the text of the period. Next slide, please. Cultural studies designates a recent and rapidly growing cross-disciplinary enterprise for analyzing the conditions that affect the production, reception, and cultural significance of all types of institutions, practices, and products. Among these, literature is accounted as merely one of the many forms of cultural studies signifying practices. Next. New historicists conceive of a literary text as situated within the totality of the institutions, the social practices and discourses that constitute the culture of a particular time and place, and within which the literary text interacts as both a product and a product of a cultural energies and codes. Politically radical exponents of cultural studies orient their writings and teaching toward the explicit end of reforming existing power structures and relations which they consider to be dominated by a privileged gender, race, or class. Louis Montrose described the new historicism as a reciprocal concern with the historicity of text and textuality of history. That is, history is conceived to be not as a set of fixed objective facts, but like the literature with which it interacts, a text that itself needs to be interpreted.
The precursor of modern cultural studies, this Rollabath, born 1915, died in 1980, and his region was Western philosophy. Read first.
Rollabath in mythology analyzed the social convention and codes that confirm meaning in such social practices as women's fashions and professional wrestling. The next one is the Raymond Williams from 1921 to 1988. Raymond Williams, this movement was inaugurated by Raymond Williams Cultural and Society in 1958 and by Richard Hogarth, the Uses of Literacy in 1958. Some important works: Michael Foucault, The Order of Things and Archaeology of the Human Sciences in 1970s, Clifford Geertz, The Interpretation of Cultures 1973, Hayden White, The Meta-History 1974, The Politics of Historical Interpretation, Discipline and Desublimation in 1982. So here we ends our lecture, and I would like our sir to give a note of thanks.
So, a hearty thanks to subject coordinators Dr. Sachin Ketkar and Professor Nitesh Solanki. Thank you very much.
Sandhan, All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.